First, I guess was in high school, what you would call maybe puppy love. We never really dated that much, but there was a guy in high school which we kind of liked to watch when he was playing games or things, and I would be sitting up in the bleachers and we'd be watching, and one spring, my cousin Paul, now you know who that was.
I do.
One spring when the arbutus were blooming, then my cousin Paul, he could drive. We'd have been about 16 then, because he could drive, and we always sat back and forth in each other. I was Francis Brubaker, he was Paul Brubaker, so he was always in back of me, always. And we were two cousins that were close together. I mean, close in heart and close in mind and everything. And he asked, he said, let's go for arbutus and let's take some girls. He wanted to take a girl with him, and he said, and we'll see if this guy that I kind of had my eye on. We never dated, Luke.
Yeah.
It never came to that, but that was my first time
To have a little
to
crush.
go out with a guy. I wasn't supposed to date until I was 18, but when there was a guy that asked if I could go out with him from church one time. Our socials dealt more with church affairs. And after church, then we would date and go to somebody's home and have some games to play and things like that. That was how our evenings were. Well, this one guy, I only dated him a few times because I was only allowed to date every other week because I wasn't 18 yet. And he didn't like that, so I might have only dated him maybe 3 or 4 times, and that was it. I didn't meet my husband to date with until, see, that was in October of when I was 18, and I was 18 in April. In the meantime, he had been dating another girl, and I knew her well too, but we weren't close friends, we just knew each other. But he was dating her maybe for several months, and I thought, oh, then and we thought once he dates that long, that we called it we thought, well, they were getting serious.
Sure.
And then after a while they broke up, and that shocked all of us younger people, and we thought that was a go, you know. Now this was who would have been my husband. Then Walter dated a girl here and dated a couple weeks, and then he didn't again. Then he'd try another couple weeks, and then he didn't again. And he was doing like that, and I said to Park and Mildred, now that's a couple that we got married the same day. I said, I wouldn't want to go with him because I don't think you'd go long enough to get to know him. Because he's just doing here and there, you know. Well, here we were at Landisville Mennonite Church one night, and they had some kind of a meeting where you get together from several different churches, and after church, Park came to me and he said, now Walter's here tonight and he doesn't have anybody to go with him, and Mildred, and Clark told me, I have Mildred here. Would you go home with him? I said, I don't know, because I had told them I'd be scared to go with him. First of all, I said, well, I have to ask my mom and dad, that's just the way we did things. And it was all right to them if I felt I wanted to go. So it ended up, we did go out, so that was my first date. Oh, and before we did that, where I lived then, it was a dirt road to get back to our place. A lot of trees along, it wasn't built up like you'll see it when you get back to it. And kind of at the end of a line, and then the creek, and he was with another, I guess I had a group of couples there that night, and I had he and another girl that he was dating there. And when he went back that road the first time, he said, boy, anybody that goes back this road for a girl gotta be crazy. Because he thought it was so... So anyway, he was a crazy one after a while, I think. And that was our first date, and then that started our dating period.
Your courtship. How old were you when World War II broke out? Maybe in your 20s?
World War II.
That would have been, let's say, 1939. You were born in 1919. You would have been 20 years old. Where were you when you found out?
I was driving through Anvil, and I think we heard it on the...
You and Dad were driving?
Right. And that we were in... That's when they went to... the Japs come over, right?
Pearl Harbor, sure.
Yeah. Well, we heard that announced as we were driving through Anvil that day. I guess we had the radio on in the car. And we heard that, and I said, and we both were just stunned like that. And we hated to hear the news. I remember our feeling both that day. We'd have been married, Duke. I'm not sure what my age was exactly.
So speaking of dating, so someday I may have a daughter, someday I may have a son. Would you just speak to, first of all, what should a woman aspire to? Or how should a woman be in a dating relationship, and then what wisdom would you give a boy someday in terms of what values you hold in a dating relationship?
Well, in the first place, I would want them to be sure they're dating. I would want them to be dating a believer in Christ. That's why I always thought about our own sons, that they would be dating a believing young lady, and prayed about that. And I think I asked each one about, I'm sure I did, even Melvin and Mary, I did, and they know that.